So the question of the day is, what's something that is very small but the most challenging in your life right now? In the grand scheme of things, if you told this to a person in the 1800s, they were like, what's your problem? Like a first world problem, I guess.
Right now, it's just flies. Flies just seem to get in all the time with, like every time we open a door a little bit. Yeah. And then it's been really wet up here too. We've gotten a lot of rain, which I know increases the bugs, but it's a very small thing. Probably
you have dead bodies around your house?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, we were in our crawl space like last week, so looking at the AC unit, but we didn't check all the corners.
For me right now, it's driving. It's just been such a hassle. I don't want to like completely complain about just drivers, but it just doesn't seem like people are focusing anymore. I'm really looking to like self-driving cars. I hope by the time I'm old and can't drive, there's already self-driving.
Oh yeah, by the time we're like old enough to get our license taken away, there'll definitely be self-driving cars. we're like already a step there.
Right.
Believe me, I'm with you. Self-driving cars are gonna be the best thing that ever happened.
See, I don't know. I go back and forth because I like driving. Well, I like driving cars. Now most of my job is driving, so that's kind of taken away from it a little bit. But if I could like have the option to drive, that'd be good. But yeah, there's definitely too many distracted drivers out there, and we all are one of them at some point. You know.
Speak for yourself. I need both hands to drive.
Well, distracted driving isn't just looking at your phone. You know, you could be off thinking about anything. You're just distracted and not giving your full attention to the road. So.
Oh, never mind. That's me. Like 2% of the time. Like 2% of the time. Most of the time, I'm really focused on not getting run over. But actually, though, yeah, my driving isn't quite mine. But so I ordered an electric bike to replace the moped. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And it's taking forever to ship. I got an email today because like they said, we'll ship in July, and they sent out this email. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. They're like, hey, we just wanted to let you know that your bike is almost ready to be shipped. You should be receiving a FedEx tracking number by August 2nd. And I was like, by August 2nd? No. You're trying to get me excited, but also sending me a notice that you're shipping my late. You don't get both. And the reason this is so annoying is because the moped is in terrible shape, but I've been putting off taking it in to get fixed because I'm about to be done with it. And I don't want to put any more money into it. But now it's like, okay, this thing won't start if it rained yesterday, so I really need this bike to get here. I probably spent more money on Ubers than I would have if I just got the damn bike fixed.
Well, welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Rob. Joined with me are my friends Lou.
What's up, guys?
And Mike.
I'm podcasting from my bed right now, and it's amazing.
You got the mic arm hanging off the... Shoot, what's the thing on the back called?
I'll send you guys a picture. It's honestly kind of hilarious.
The headboard?
The headboard. Not quite. No, because I'm moving soon, I made the main living area turn into like a... what is it, a flat, where it's just like you just live in one space. So it's like my bed is like immediately to the right of the door. Well, actually, I have a bookshelf instead of a nightstand right now because I've already moved my nightstand. So it's just like my bed and my TV and a couple chairs. And so then now my bedroom and the spare room can be places for me to like organize and move and do that whole mess.
Well, Lou, what are we talking about this week?
Today we're talking about the top 5 celebrities you would like to hang out with. And it's up to you. It's up to your interpretation. What do you consider a celebrity?
Well, why don't you start us off with your number 5?
So my number 5 is, when I was making this list, I was talking to my wife about it, and because I was really struggling with trying to figure out 5 of them. And the first person she immediately said was this YouTuber that has 2.7
subscribers. Whoa.
2.7 subscribers. 2.7. There's a 5. 2.75. 2.75. 2.75 million subscribers.
There you go.
He's been doing this for a while. He's been in the game for, I don't don't even know how, 5-6 years. His name is QuangTran, and he is a Vietnamese YouTuber chef that I have absolutely fell in love with, because the first video I ever watched from him is how to cook a Goku feast, and then from there I've just never looked back. The dude is just absolutely insane. He's the super jacked, just fried chicken monster, dude. Like it's just so fun to watch him cook. He's electric. I think it would be just super fun to just cook with him in one of the videos. He always says, you gotta respect my fried chicken game, and you know what? His fried chicken game looks pretty good. I don't want to be a stereotype here, but I'm a fan.
Have you tried making his recipes at all?
I have not. No, I try not to fry food at home because the oil gets everywhere.
It smells bad.
And it's just not worth it. But I'd go to his house and fry some chicken.
There you go.
For sure. Yeah. So he's got a ton of stuff that I just love, like Naruto ramen, Goku feast, Cajun crab leg, sushi, One Piece feast.
So what is a Goku feast? Is just a whole bunch of foods you see in DBZ?
Yeah, it's like you remember when Goku's like sitting down and I was gonna say Yamcha. What's his wife's name? Chi-Chi?
Oh, Chi-Chi, yeah.
Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi's like making him this insane meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it is. So it's like the meat on the stick, the dumplings, the sushi, ramen, just
the quote unquote donuts from Pokemon.
Have a donut. That always cheers me up. Pika pika. These donuts are great. Jelly filled are my favorite. Nothing beats.
Yeah. What a pull. Good job on that.
Did he make a sensu bean at least?
I don't know. I'd have to. I haven't seen it in like 5 years.
Yeah, good.
But from what I could tell in the thumbnail, I do not see a sensu bean. I don't even know what a sensu bean would even look like.
Just a I don't know. Just a bean. A very beefed up bean. I don't know.
Very beef. I don't think so.
Maybe you have a bean, you soak it in like some Tylenol or ibuprofen, so get that healing property.
I was thinking more of like a Viagra wrapped in a bean. That's probably what sensu beans are.
Really gets them going.
Yeah, for sure. That's why Goku had a heart attack. If you know, you know.
Oh gosh, so many times Goku just really fumbled the ball. It's like you had one job, Goku.
That's my number 5.
So I actually had a very similar topic to this one that's kind of been in the back of my mind, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that or anything. So the topic I was thinking about was top 5 celebrities you want to play D&D with. And since you didn't specify what type of hanging out we're going to do, I'm like, all right, I'll just do this because then I can do that and you guys can do your own thing. So this is, I built a group of celebrities that I'd want to play D&D with. In this case, I'm the DM. What the heck just fell from my ceiling? Oh my gosh. Anyways,
you got dead bodies in your house.
Maybe. No, I haven't checked the attic. I thought the inspector did, but I guess not. Oh, it was just a paint swash. It was hanging up on the wall. Anyways, this is in no particular order, but first up, I got my favorite musician, or one of them at least, jonbellion. I've talked about him and gushed about him on the show before, and I think I tried not to be too stereotypical on like what classes, because I also have classes for them, what classes they would be, but I feel like he would have to be a bard, but I also feel like he'd be a good like swashbuckler, so I have him a College of Swords bard with at least 3 levels into rogue for swashbuckler, because I think he'd do a very good job, and he'd be like the face of the party, and you know, suave, and he could like make beats up on the spot and everything. I'll have him bring his beat pad with it, and yeah, it'd be maybe a more futuristic campaign setting, but yeah, that'd be a good time.
That would be a good time. Who's the face of our campaign now?
I mean, it has to be Artemis, because you know you guys call him captain or something.
Call it captain, leader, daddy.
Yeah, it's I think he has the highest charisma too, because you're a cleric, which is cleric and druid are wisdom. Kevin's an intelligence-based character. He's like 3 different classes though.
Yeah.
He has at least some wizard in there, so that's intelligence. And Becca is a rogue, so she's dex. So yeah, it'd have to be Artemis, who's a charisma-based character.
There you go.
That's my number 5.
I like it. That's smart. For me, because we're able to, leave it up to our interpretation what counts as a celebrity, I'm going to go with the only celebrity that my dad has ever spotted in the wild, and that is Lucian from the Top Podcast.
God.
You said 10 followers. We have more than 10 followers, that's for sure.
I don't have more than 10 followers. I don't have any followers. I have
Well,
zero
the
followers.
podcast does.
The
Podcast it's got 30, right? You get a third of those.
We have 30 on YouTube alone. We have 36 subscribers. So you take a third of that. You're looking at 12 each. So
there you go.
over 10.
Are you gonna tell the story, or should I tell the story?
You can tell the story.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very fun. So there's a food drive at the hood that I grew up in, pretty much, and it's a food drive that I think your dad has been going to forever. Something that like we've been partnering with.
Yeah, his church partners with City Covenant Church, who I believe are the ones that do the food drive.
Yes. And so shout out to City Covenant. And so I show up late because I got the time wrong. And so pretty much there's baskets and everybody's putting food in the basket and everybody's just going in line, filling it up and then restarting over again. I show up insanely late, like an hour late. And part of me was like, I shouldn't even come to this thing because it's probably already done. So I get there and there's maybe like a handful of baskets left. And so I am trying to just be as sneaky as possible to just kind of just get in, serve my community, and get out. And I hear in the back, is that a celebrity? Is the top podcast? And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's pointing at everybody, and he's tapping them in the shoulder. And he's like, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is?
Hey, we got a nice bump on socials that day.
Like, oh no. I'm just trying to serve my community.
I didn't realize you were late and trying to sneak in too. that part got missed when my dad told me the story.
Oh my gosh. And like the time before I hung out with him, he like fake sneezed on me and threw like a bunch of water in my face.
Oh man, I didn't know he still did that. That's a
Oh
classic.
my gosh.
Did he tell you, I know what, you're all right no matter what Christian says about you? Did he tell you that one?
Nope, he's never did that. No, I tried to do that. It's so funny. I wrote that on your Facebook page, on your anniversary post, and I completely botched it. I didn't even like grammar correct it. And I was like, whatever the thing, whatever thing. I was like, this isn't right.
And then you still clicked post?
And then I still clicked. I'm dead tired. I wasn't even thinking, but I was trying to be funny.
Was that on Becca's?
It was on Becca's, yeah. And she like gave me a pity like, probably last podcast, just like last podcast. So yeah, you're picking me as your number 5. Very honored.
Well, what am my so really my strategy was I wanted celebrities that I thought were cool and that were connected to things I like, but that didn't seem too intense. Like
I agree.
I want a football player, an American football player, but like I don't want somebody who's just like only gonna be able to talk football,
Right.
And I picked a comedian and was like, this guy's pretty intense. I don't know that we'd actually have that much to talk about. And so I was like, well, as much as I like Chris Rock, he was my only black guy, so I'll grab Lucian, and then there's still some diversity on my list.
Me and my wife talking about diversity too. I was like, ooh, there's a lot of white men on my list. So I'm gonna have to switch this up a little bit.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I think Bill Burr would be fun to watch play D&D, like if he was into it and like all that. But I wouldn't want to be that DM. I would be crying. Like I'd just get roasted and everything. So he's definitely an honorable mention for me. If he could roast an entire city for 13 minutes,
bunch of stupid goblins.
then
what are you doing, man?
I couldn't handle as a DM if he was one of my players. And I should say for mine,
1 more 7.
For mine, I'm under the assumption that they know how to play D&D and would enjoy it, which it's probably as likely as them hanging out with me for some of these picks. Well, Lou, what's your number 4?
All right, my number 4 is gonna be a guy who, when I'm sad or when I can't go to sleep, I hop on his YouTube page and I just watch this man just eat through New York, and I just wish that I could just be by his side and just eat things that are just absolutely delicious. His name is Action Bronson. He's a rapper. I don't think he's an amazing rapper. There's a couple witty things he raps about. But I think he's just generally a cool person. And if I'm up at 4 a.m., there's a good chance that I'm watching some of his YouTube videos. And he just looks like a fun guy to hang out with that just enjoys eating food. And ultimately, that's what I like to do as well. So that's my number 4. He also has a TV show called That's Delicious. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but
Heard of it, haven't watched it.
it looks very delicious, I will say.
I only know like one of his songs because Chance the Rapper is featured in it.
Yeah,
And then I think he's featured in a Chance the Rapper song as well. So it's what my knowledge of Action Bronson.
Yeah, not a great rapper. I think one of his lyrics you're gonna have to bleep out, but it's like "wet as goblin," and
More
I don't know.
goblins.
And that's why I remembered it. But yeah,
What was the one on that? It was I bought the crib and haven't set foot in, but now someone else is eating all the pudding.
eating all the pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an amazing rapper, I will say.
No.
He also got into fitness, which honestly I think it'd be cool to like
Good for him.
get a little workout in, do some stretching.
Dude, I'm not familiar with that guy, but I will say YouTube and New York food people, like, it's the only thing that's ever made me want to go to New York is just YouTube foodies where I was like, oh, that all looks amazing.
Yeah, like, and part of me's like, I don't think I would pay somebody to just walk me through some of the best things in New York.
Right?
To be my spiritual guide.
Well, they should have like food-based walking tours of New York, like instead of it being like, here's all there's got to be, right?
Yeah,
If not, I'm gonna go make a living in New York real quick. I'll talk to you guys later.
Screw Tennessee. We're going to the Big Apple.
Us three in the Big Apple would be fun. I think it'd be insane though. I heard it's smelly. I don't know.
And the rats are like
That
the
is
size
also what I
of
hear.
small
Yeah,
dogs.
I like dogs.
Do you like rats the size of dogs?
Is that a How I Met Your Mother reference?
I
Me.
mean,
I
I don't
know
know
it's
about the
from
small dogs.
something.
I just you hear about the big old rats in New York, or at least I have. Hey, if you guys, if we get 2,000 likes on this video, we'll do a New York top podcast a tour for you guys. Let's go ahead and smash that like button, like Action Bronson and Wet Goblins blank, and then leave some comments and share it. And New York, we're coming for you.
I'm just making 1,000 YouTube profiles.
Hey, if it works, it works. My number 4 is definitely someone that has played D&D. They're a pretty big nerd themselves, which I kind of tried to get people who I think would like D&D. But that's just me. Because I mean, obviously, if you're hanging out with someone, it helps when you have something in common. So, like Mike was saying, you don't want someone that just wants to talk only football or something. But this guy is definitely one of the most prolific authors nowadays. He's top 10 if fantasy author still alive right now. And that is BrandSanderson. He does author Mistborn, Stormlight. He cranks out like 3 novels a year, like big, thick novels for the most part too. And he seems like a genuine good guy. He'd be fun to be with. And I would put him as an artificer because this guy, a lot of his magic systems are very like physics based and really inventive. And I just think an artificer is like a tinkerer, and he would just have he'd make up some crazy fun things with it. And I put the artillerist because that's like shooting cannons and like building walking cannons, all that. Because I was trying to get somewhat of some party composition, but I mean, really, I just think he would do a great job there. And he seems like a genuinely good and funny guy. So
He looks like he secretly has a big penis. I don't know. I'm getting that vibe from him. I don't know. I'm looking through some of his pictures.
Lou is on fire tonight.
you can also check
Shout out
out
to-
his podcast.
Shout out to Emily Bushman,
Who
his wife.
is that?
Emily Bushman. That's her.
Can't say I know that much about him. I'll watch some of his videos every now and again in his podcast whenever they have a interesting title like that. I just listened to one yesterday. Is Gandalf a Gary Sue? Turns out he was, but they went. I guess there's this huge like 150 question list that you can go through to see if your character's a Mary/Gary Sue. Yeah, very much a Gary Sue.
What's a Gary Sue?
It's basically there's a character that is usually a self-insert, almost like a fanfic character, and there's not really anything wrong. They do everything perfect the first time, and people don't like disagree with them ever. And it's like trying to think of one. So like Superman, 100% of Gary Sue, but that's kind of like his character. Like he's infallible almost. A lot of people will argue that Rey from the new Disney trilogy is a Mary Sue, because like she never goes through any trials and she's just good at everything, and that's kind of the premise of it.
Like Gandalf's a weird case though, because like yeah, he is perfect, but he's also like an angel in the lore, right?
Yeah.
So like
he's written to be like Superman is written to be that way.
Yeah. Like yes, he is, but it wasn't an accident. Whereas like Rey is the same way, but like she's like the main character. She's supposed to grow. Gandalf is like a super mega supporting character.
Mm-hmm. Lord of the Rings is not held up by nostalgia. Mike, what's your number 4?
I'm gonna go with the first deserving 2-time Survivor winner, Tony Vlachos.
Tony.
Yes, that is how you pronounce his name. Yeah, Tony was the winner of the first season of Survivor I ever watched. He is my favorite Survivor of all time. I've watched almost every season of Survivor. I really like the show. I still watch it when it airs. And without question, I think he's both the best at the gameplay and one of the most entertaining guys on the show. But whatever I've heard him, and he's nuts. Like, the dude's just kind of insane.
Is that the
out
cop?
on the island. Yeah. Yeah. Dude's like digging holes and like building forts and trees so he can spy on people. And like, he goes super hard. Yeah. I can't get enough of him. And then he won Winners at War, the all winners season, where it was just like all the best winners they ever had all came back. And not only did he win, but he won in just incredible fashion. And yeah, he seems like a really cool guy, because I've seen some interviews with him out when he's off the island and he's had some time to normal up. And I'm like, oh, I could sit down and have a burger and a beer.
I was going to say, what are you going to do with that guy?
I'd have a burger and a beer with him. I mean, that's kind of my, just like you did D&D, that was kind of my my benchmark, was like, okay, who can I have lunch with? You know, on like Saturday, 1 o'clock, burger and beer. Like, who am I going with? And I feel like I could come up with enough to talk about with Tony for the duration of a burger and a beer. You know,
He's a psychopath, bro.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah, we're talking about the cop, right?
I mean, there's a lot of cops, but yes,
He's the cop. Remember when, I can't remember what season it was, but he was partnered with this one girl, and she was like, "You're not gonna vote me out, right?" And he's like, "I swear on my kids. I swear on the life of my
I think I saw that one.
Mm-hmm. And he voted her out.
Yeah, he did. The guy was nuts.
He's a whack job. And then
Well, that's the thing. When he talks about that season, he was like, I literally didn't sleep. Like, I would play the game as hard as I could all day, and then everybody else would fall asleep, and I would just stay up all night just being like, if they do this, I'm going to do this. If they do this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
If they do this, I'm going to do this. And like he was literally just like, by the end, at one point he told somebody, he was like, you sound like a llama right now. Like, you're talking, but all I hear is like, yeah, he's a whack job, but he's also
Absolutely
like 30
whack
days
job.
sleep deprived.
That's why it's only for the duration of a burger and a beer. You know,
That's
it's not
fair.
for longer.
That's understandable. I get that. Also, like, I can't remember what season it was, but like 10 minutes on the island, he started just sprinting through the forest trying to find.
that was his second season.
And then he voted his ass out.
Yeah, he tried to, like, he explained it later, like, because he was always running off and, like, looking for idols in his first season. And so everyone knew, like, oh, watch out for Tony. And so he tried to, like, break the ice. He was like, watch out! I'm gonna go get an idol! Ah! And just, like, ran into the woods, and nobody followed him. And then he came back, and he was like, I was just kidding. And they're like, do you find an idol? Do you have an idol? And he was like, ah, oh, crap.
Idiot.
Yeah, and then the third
played
season,
yourself.
he played a little more low-key. Yeah.
I haven't watched the third one, but that's hilarious.
I think that was the season we were watching. So back when Becca and I started dating, Mike had us over for dinner one time. We watched Survivor, and Mike made a very nice seafood dinner. But if you know me, I don't like seafood, and it was still like, I know in the past we've talked about it, like not seafood because we were just hanging out, but like wasn't a thing. So I felt bad saying anything, so I just kept on. I'd trade Becca. You made, what was it, potatoes or something? You made some really good sides, so we ended up like swapping it. So I ate all the sides and everything, and then you guys gave Becca crap for not finishing her food because she had 2 people's worth of fish and everything.
Yeah, that was the season.
So they had the
remember.
ex-NBA player, right?
Yeah, Cliff something.
Ex-Detroit Pistons, Cliff
Oh,
something.
nice. Yeah.
So as long as you guys aren't stranded on an
Burger
island
Island,
together,
yeah.
you think you'll be okay?
Yeah. And heck, honestly, even if it was a burger on an island, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? This will be interesting. This will be a good story.
I'll write about this later.
Exactly.
Lou, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is a pretty fun one. Let's see if you guys can guess it. He is 16-time world champion, New York Times best-selling author,
Oh, no. That's not where I was going to go.
and a record-setting Make-A-Wish granter.
Stephen King. I don't know.
Six-time world champion, Stephen King.
Yep.
He wrestles.
Oh, wrestle. I thought you said best times.
No.
Like,
6-time. Sorry, re-scratch that. 16-time world champion, New York Times best-selling author, and record-setting Make-A-Wish granter.
I mean, the 16-time champion makes you think you're talking about that hot dog guy. I don't know. That was like my initial thought. I don't know.
He's at Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's just giving kids hot dogs.
Well, I mean, he's the most successful athlete in existence if you consider professional eating. I forget his
That's a
name.
good point.
And his name is John C.
That makes sense. What book has someone written for him with his name on it?
No idea. Did not do enough research. I've always liked John Cena. I think John Cena came into the WWE right when I figured out that it was fake. Around that time.
Probably because
so,
John Cena came into WWE. Terrible at selling
maybe.
hits.
Maybe. I think it's crazy that this like country boy from God knows who, from Florida. Pretty sure he's from Florida.
You can be
No,
a
he
country
was
boy and from Florida?
No, he's not from Florida. Where's he from? Oh, Massachusetts. I should
Big
know.
You can be a
difference.
country boy and from Massachusetts?
Rural Mass.
Rural Mass. That's fair, right? I don't know.
No, maybe, yeah, that's fair, actually.
I'm not a
I
teacher.
think it's from Boston, though. I
No,
don't know.
Newberry. Science.
Intern.
I randomly watched, and I've already talked about this movie. It's a little inappropriate, but I think it is such a good movie, and I think it's super underrated. It's called Ricky Stenicki.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I watched this massive hulking man act his ass off, and I absolutely fell in love with John Cena again. And then I just went on a deep dive on John Cena, and I listened to like interviews with him, and then I found out that has served over 650 kids in Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then I just found out all of the cool things that he's done, and I've like
Veteran, too.
and it's just insane. It's just like an insane amount of things that he's done, and I've saw like other people talk about John Cena, and they always talk about how he's such a kind man, and his work ethic. And I would just love to just pick this man's brain. Like, it's insane. Like, it's just super cool. I love that he only talks great about the WWE. Like, the WWE owns this man's name, which I think is, like, absolutely insane that, a company could do that. But he says that he doesn't hold any hatred towards it, or any, like, he loves it. Like, it's great.
Isn't he, like, one of the spokespeople for WWE? Or was at some point?
At one point, I believe he's just done so much cool stuff, and I just love that now he's in his I think he's in his 50s or 40s or something like that, and he's still working hard. And I don't know, I think it's just cool. I would love to talk to him, pick his brain about just work ethic, and I don't know, just have a burger and a beer with him, I guess.
Would you write a rap song with him?
I'm gonna look past the fact that he was trying to do that.
Hey, mad respect though for having the nugs to do it.
For real, yeah. I mean, he's talked about it in his interview, and he said that he always liked rap, and he had a younger brother that was really into rap, and so that's how they kind of created this persona. But it must be hard to wrestle. I can only imagine trying to build up this character that people fall in love with. Like, who knows if it works or not? It's pretty cool though.
True. Watch the video where he's like one of those guys that like has every minute of his day scheduled, and it's very interesting how he goes about it.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You just wonder, there's a couple of guys that you just wonder, how do you even get to that point? I mean, money probably does help a lot.
Yeah.
Sure doesn't hurt, but it is super cool.
Yeah, I'm more of an Undertaker fan myself, but that's
for wrestling. For wrestling, I have. Yeah, he's not even in my top 5.
Mike, what's your thoughts on the WWE?
all about Rey Mysterio. It's all that matters.
Rey Mysterio.
So my number 3, just so it isn't a total sausage fest. My wife would probably be there playing D&D, but just so there's again not just all these men. I think FeliciaDay would be fun to have and play D&D with. If you don't know, Dr. Horrible's sing-along adventure blog. It's definitely when I think of her is from that. But I think she's a pretty big nerd in real life too. And I just think she'd be a great druid, and I'd put her at Circle of the Spores so she can like resurrect these things like some mushroom magic and all that. And I think it'd be a good time.
Nice.
Okay, what has she been in? 'Cause she looks really familiar, but I can't.
Dr. Horrible sing-along adventure blog.
Supernatural.
Oh, sure. What has she been in that people have seen?
Eureka?
Excuse me, sir.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. House.
The Guild.
Critical Role. Annoying Orange. This lady does not turn down a role. I'll tell you that much.
Ooh, was she in the Rings of Power? I might have to deduct her for that one there. No, she was. She was on the podcast. Okay. Whew.
Be Cool Scooby Doo.
Oh shoot, she's in Be Cool Scooby Doo, dude. Underrated Scooby Doo show that.
I knew that would trigger you.
Who was she in Be Cool Scooby Doo? I gotta look into this.
And she also does a lot of like video game voice acting too.
Yeah, she does not turn on a role.
Just puts you in a circle. She's far enough. I think she's probably just like a one-time character.
Yeah.
So when you scroll down, when you get far enough down in the cast, you can click on her, but it just takes you back to her.
Oh yeah, she was in New Vegas for all the Fallout fans out there. She was the voice of Veronica. I think it was a follower.
Oh, very cool.
So what's that Scooby Doo about? I've never even heard of it.
Oh man, so it's the follow-up to Mystery Inc., which was like the first ever concurrent storyline. Like it's serialized and it's kind of dark and really atmospheric. Well, it's still having a lot of humor and like Scooby-Doo charm. And so they just went the total opposite direction. They did like a real weird animation style, and it was just funny. Like it was super self-aware and just like it was by far the funniest of all the Scooby-Doos. And it was like made for Scooby-Doo fans. So like in the way that if you watch the movies, nobody ever knows what to do with Daphne from one movie to the other. Her personality is just all over the place based on who's writing it. They did that with the show. So every episode, Daphne's just totally different and like has no consistency, which I thought was brilliant. And then there's just tons of like good jokes about Scooby-Doo and self-aware, like at their own expense humor. And then it still has the charm of just the, monster of the week.
Mm-hmm. So it's a TV show, not one of those movies.
Oh yeah. It's on the good old Max, and I'd recommend it.
What if you started writing for Scooby-Doo? Would you take that job?
In a heartbeat.
Would you move to LA for that job?
Ooh.
I'd seriously consider it.
Just live in a tent on the beach.
I could think of worse things than tented on the beach and writing for Scooby-Doo.
Got a problem with that, Lou?
No, I'm just picturing this movie. I can't remember what movie it is. It's inappropriate, but it's I can't remember the name of it. But I know there was like it's just a super hot guy that like is homeless.
Whoa.
And he's just taking naked showers in front of like, those beach showers.
You got the ocean. You don't even need
Not the same, no.
No, it's not. It's your all-in-one for bathroom needs.
Yeah. And I just picture Mike doing the same thing, just like waking up from his tent, just naked, just waving at all like the 40-year-old moms, trying to walk their dog.
He ends up posting up on the workout beach, and next time we see him, he's just jacked, right into Scooby-Doo and everything.
He's like,
honestly,
hey,
that'd be the best. Just work out, be on the beach, learn to surf.
Go write some Scooby-Doo and come back.
He's like, hey, what's your name? I might put into a Scooby-Doo.
Tell me your story. What you got? They're like, man, this Scooby-Doo, there's a lot of freaking beef hunks in here. Goodness. What's your number 3, Mike?
All right. For my number 3, I went with WilliamRyanKey. Most well known for being the lead singer of the pop punk band Yellow Card. Even more well known for being that guy who sang Ocean Avenue.
Becca liked that pick. We'll like this pick.
Yeah. He also did a couple like solo acoustic albums after Yellow Card called it quits. And I really, EPs. They were like 4 or 5 songs each, and I really liked them. And then he started doing this like weird, vibey, electronic soundscape stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. But I really like, I like his lyrics, and I like his approach to songwriting a lot, especially the acoustic stuff. And like I've always felt like, oh man, this guy seems to phrase ideas similar to the way I like to phrase ideas when I'm doing songwriting. And so, yeah, I'd love to have a burger and a beer and just chop up that whole dynamic. Just, let's talk shop a little bit, even though, he's a professional and I'm very, very, very much an amateur. I think that could be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know that there's too much to actually discuss. I should have done that one fifth just because it doesn't hold up. But
You can do a synth pop cover of our intro for us.
That'd be kind of sick.
That would be sick. There's a place on Ocean Avenue.
That was the first song I ever played live in a band, was Ocean Avenue.
It's the first song I've ever got bricked up watching a music video. I'm just joking.
It's a shame we can't do that music video pod because Mike
Actually,
is not a man of culture.
Jacob really wants to be on that episode. He thinks it'd be hilarious to have the deaf guy talk music videos. Andrew was also interested in it, so you could do Jacob and Andrew.
But not their brother.
But not their brother, that's right.
There's a place off Ocean Avenue where I used to sit and talk with you.
What's your number 2, Lou?
Get it, number 2.
Alright.
You going in the ocean, so?
Aquadump.
Heard it's not as good as you might think.
No.
Had first-hand sources tell me that.
Okay, so my number 2, I was taught at a young age to hate this guy, and that he was the reason why Kurt Cobain died. And so my mom drilled this in me to never love this artist. As I got older, I couldn't avoid it. It was everywhere. It was on the radio. And then I found out that's my wife's favorite band. And I was constantly listening to him. And so I did more deep dive, right? And then I listened to his Hot Ones. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so freaking cool. And then I found out that he, like, smokes meat for, like, food banks. Or, like, not food banks. Food kitchens. What do you call those? Soup kitchens. Like, he makes, like, hundreds and thousands of sandwiches and smoked meats for soup kitchens. And I was just, like, enthralled with this guy. His name is Dave Grohl.
Did you blame Dave Grohl for Cobain's death?
Yeah.
I thought it was Courtney Love. That's what I've always heard.
Courtney Love and Dave Grohl. I mean, they both exploded after he died, right? So.
Yeah, I would say for Grohl, it's just he had so much talent. If Nirvana didn't get big, he was bound to make it somewhere else.
And that's what I agree with too.
Yeah.
Because also he didn't even like he was going under the Foo Fighters and like not telling people, hey, like I'm the drummer from Nirvana. Like he was intentionally trying to see if it would get it would work.
I know, like he tried to make his lyrics nonsensical for the first album because he didn't want to keep him be like, oh, they're talking about Kurt Cobain and all that. But I've never heard that people blame him for his death, so that's news to me. So your mom just blame him for his death because he got big did you think they got big off of it, or is there's something sinister about it?
I mean, shout out to my mom. She literally thought that he put the shotgun to his head. So, who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. But if you want a good laugh, Google why black people love Dave Grohl, and I think it is absolutely hilarious. It's such a good interview. It's super funny. The first I won't spoil it but it's a pretty good interview. But yeah, my wife actually listened to is it memoir? That's what it's called? Memoir is when you die.
That'd be their biography, but memoirs is usually like journals or stuff like that.
Yeah. And so I listened to a little bit of it. Absolutely insane what Nirvana was in the beginning. Just the stuff going on, just absolutely nuts.
Held up by nostalgia, maybe.
Held up by nostalgia, maybe. I mean, it's up to interpretation. But the story connected to it is great. I recommend it for sure. Just seems like a cool guy. He really got me into his band called Alabama Shakers. I think he said it in one of the interviews. such a good band, and I probably never would have listened to them unless he suggested them. Not suggested them. What do you call it?
Recommended.
Recommended them. So yeah, I think I just picture just us smoking meat together, listening to good music, him teaching me about different music, and I don't know, just maybe serving, maybe going to a soup kitchen and helping out, and I think it'd just be a really good time.
Mm-hmm. All right, my number 2. I think most people would slot this person into like the old wizard, old timey person, but in my mind, I think they'd make a great straight edge, no nonsense paladin. So I just think they'd be fun and be like drawing the line. Everything would be a treat to watch, and that is Morgan Freeman.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He's old as though.
Yeah, I mean, this is under the hypothetical that he knows how to play D&D and all that, but I just think I'm not going to even try to impersonate his voice because Becca laughed at me when I tried it, so I will not, but I think he'd be fun. He would also be another good face of the party, like telling people like to get in line and everything. I don't know. I think it would be a good time. I need to stop saying. I think I've said that after every one of my picks. Is it'd be a good time.
He's 87. He's not gonna last an hour. Brother's old as shit.
So I'm not ageist.
I mean, I'm not ageist either, but 1937, man. I mean,
he could probably tell us about the first edition. Okay. How about Morgan Freeman from 20 years ago? Are you more happy with that one, Lou?
I mean, he's still in his 60s, but yeah, sure.
Like Bruce Almighty Morgan Freeman,
Bruce Almighty. I was thinking more 7 Morgan Freeman, but
yeah, that's a little younger. I think that's 90s, right?
Yeah, it's 95.
Well, I don't think he broke into Hollywood until he was like in his 40s.
I mean, it is pretty cool to, you never know when you're gonna get your shot.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to say to Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I was just about to move on. Mike,
do you really want to hang out with Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, what?
Like
I think he'd be a cool guy to hang out with. Just talk about life, have the different, even like D&D aside, I think he's probably lived such an interesting life. I'd love just to kind of hear his stories and everything, like how we got into there, and I just think he'd be a cool guy to talk to. Be chill.
5 Morgan Freeman songs. It's not songs. Movies.
Got 7, Bruce Almighty, Glory. Is it Driving Miss Daisy? Is that the one with him in a car?
Is he in Driving Miss Daisy?
Yeah, he's a chauffeur, isn't he?
Oh, I thought he was another black guy.
And what's the bucket list one? I'm trying to look at the bucket list one. But the bucket list, that's what's called. Yeah. Sawshank.
Okay, I was gonna say you left out his best movie.
The best movie. Are you looking them up now? Are you cheating?
No. I only saw Shawshank once, so that's why it's not like super.
It's the scene that gets you, make you feel.
No, that's more in Mike's story, so that's all I'm saying.
What?
Oh man, yeah, I was gonna say you think the dead kids are bad. You should read the Prison Story.
Yeah.
You have a movie.
The Ghost in the Peripherals. That's what it's called, right?
Ghost in the Periphery. Yeah, I'm actually still really proud of that one, but it's pretty dark. I toned it down, I think, since the first time you read it.
So I read the first draft.
The first draft was freaking brutal.
Yeah. Didn't you tell your mom not to read it?
No, my mom's read it. I told Mackenzie not to read it.
I know there was someone close to you that you said don't just skip this one. Yeah. I think you said the same thing to Becca too. So I don't think she's.
I think you said that to Becca, but yeah, she has also not read it.
So Mike, what's your number 2? Or who is your number 2? Whom?
Man, so my number 2, I didn't expect him to make it this high. I didn't. This week I didn't have like a good ranking, so I just kind of picked who I felt like I wanted to. I was like, this guy feels right for this spot. That is John Krasinski.
Yeah.
I think. Oh my gosh, your hatred of The Office is so.
That's like the only thing I've seen him in. I haven't seen Silent Place and all that. Quiet Place.
Quiet Place was really good.
It's pretty good.
Some Good News with John Krasinski was awesome during lockdown. I don't know if you guys were aware of that, but he literally started a YouTube channel called Some Good News. What a freaking fiend he was when he sold that thing too, because basically it was literally just him highlighting like happy, upbeat news stories during lockdown.
Cute.
Did he sing the Imagine? The celebrities.
No,
okay.
No.
I didn't check see if any of mine did that too, or else I'm gonna have to give him the boot. But
yeah, it's fair. least not to my knowledge. But then he did like 5 or 6 episodes, and it would like blew up like millions and millions of followers. And then he sold the IP to some company because it was gigantic, and he was done with it. And freaking, that was just it. Like it never went anywhere. They never did anything with it. And yeah, it was just like he showed up and made this massive thing in 6 weeks, and it was just like, all right, bye, and made a ton of money off it. But yeah, no, I love him in The Quiet Place, and then like he's just like he's a normal guy from Boston, you know, like he likes sports and good
Boston.
food. And
you don't have to say that.
I mean, outside of the Patriots, what's wrong with Boston?
No, I just feel like I was more saying that I feel like it's easier to say who from Boston doesn't like sports because it's like such a big sports city.
Yeah, he's from yeah. That's fair. But like, yeah, no, he'd just be. I feel like he'd be a chill hang. He'd be good to get a burger with, and yeah, you know, I think you could talk about more than just what he's done, and have interesting conversations.
Did he ever have like the Boston accent? And he like toned it down for Hollywood?
I don't know if he ever had it personally. I've seen him do it in a commercial.
Look at these two troublemakers.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car, is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me pack it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right?
That was like, but it was super cheesy and on purpose. Like they got a bunch of actors who were from Boston to all
It was
do the Boston accent.
It was like the was it something about clam chowder?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was,
Hey John.
yeah.
We got the clam chowder.
Yeah.
It was a car commercial, I think.
I think so.
But it clearly wasn't a very good commercial because I remember the commercial, but not the brand of the car.
Mhm.
Was it backing up, like self-driving?
Yeah, I
Or
think
was
so.
It was, yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
That's a wicked tight spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the vehicle was or whatever, but yeah. Glad we all knew the commercial.
I think it might have been a Super Bowl commercial.
I think so.
Which makes sense. They had so much star power in it.
Can you name 5 John Krasinski movies?
Been in
The
5
Quiet
movies?
Place. Quiet Place 2.
What about you guys see the new Quiet Place?
No, I wanted
Day
to.
1? No, I haven't even seen 2 yet.
Oh, 2 is pretty good.
I
It's a
heard
little
2 was pretty good,
different.
but we started it and then something came up and we just never got back to it. He's been in a bunch of... He was in those war movies that aren't really my thing, but he played like a military guy. I think he was in... Was he in the one about getting Saddam?
Maybe Zero Dark 30. I haven't watched
Yeah,
it
that
since
one.
I've watched the or before The Office was even on my radar. I own it. I just haven't watched it in a long time. I have to see if he's in there.
Yeah, I think he was in... I think he was in a couple Jack Reacher movies. Oh, no, Jack Reacher was a TV show he did after that. Yeah, so no, I can't name 5 John Krasinski movies. He's not like one of my favorite actors or anything, but I was more just trying to think of people I thought would be a chill hang.
It's fair. I'm not seeing him in the cast for Zero Dark 30.
It might not have been Zero Dark 30, but I know he did a couple of military films like that.
All right, Lou, let's bring it around to your number 1.
At number 1, I'm gonna switch it up. I was gonna be somebody else. We're doing what do you call it, Mike? What do you call it when you switch it up?
Audible?
Audible, yes. Football. I know football. I know very little about this guy because I did zero research, but I'm shooting for it because I know he likes anime, and he is probably one of my favorite actors of all time. Samuel L. Jackson. A little bit younger than the last pick.
Not by much, though. He also didn't get started until like 4.
Samuel L. Jackson's only 75 years old. I picked him because 1, he was black, and 2, he was old. So I thought rap would interest.
Wait. So you could pick. If I put him at my number 1, would that have satisfied you if Morgan Freeman was my number 1 then? Too low on the list?
I don't know nothing about Morgan Freeman, so I don't think I've ever seen any of his interviews or nothing. But yeah, I think Morgan Freeman is not Morgan Freeman. Damn it! I think Samuel L. Jackson is just absolutely awesome. I've seen a couple of his interviews. He did. Oh, what was that? What's the anime called? Afro Samurai. He voiced Afro Samurai. He's supported a lot. I think he supported over like 100. He's got a lot of money, and he supported over 100 nonprofits. Somebody did a list of how many like nonprofits he supported, and it is extremely long. Don't quote me on it, but I know it's a ton. He's had the same wife for a long ass time.
Good for him. It's hard to do in Hollywood.
And I think it is a good sign that if you can keep a wife for that long, I think it's awesome. Yeah, what can I say? Snakes on a plane, baby.
I like how he forced his purple lightsaber into Star Wars.
I do.
Because he wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
And on the lightsaber, George Lucas put badass mother effer on it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, just because of Pulp Fiction.
That's awesome.
Also carried by nostalgia. No, I'm not brave enough to say that online.
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Movie sucks.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I found one other person that doesn't think it's all that great.
And we've already talked about this.
Yeah, I know.
Act like this hasn't been
Jacob's gonna rage. Probably Andrew too, but yeah.
I mean,
that whole
just
crew.
Because something is popular doesn't mean that it sucks.
It's not just because it's popular.
The fact that I've never managed to make it through to Wake does.
It's like the Boondock Saints for him.
Yeah, except that. Boondock Saints, the Boondock Saints, it wasn't like it was the middle of the day and I was trying to get through it. It was like always late at night. I've made valid attempts to watch Pulp Fiction. And
how far do you make it? Do you at least make it to the Gimp?
Oh
no, I just know I've just heard of the Gimp. I've never seen him.
Well, I mean, you gotta make it to the Gimp, and then it's a.
I'm not even convinced the Gimp's actually in the movie. I think you're all just messing with me. I think I'm gonna get through it one day and be like, "Where the f*** is the Gimp?"
Where's the Gimp, Josh? All right, my number one. Another that people would probably a lot of his movies that he's in. He's the strong man and everything, and I think that he is just miscast for D&D purposes. I think he'd be a great job of being like the old wizard that's like seen stuff and all that. I put him down as Order of the Scribes. I also think I forgot to say that I had Morgan Freeman as an Oath of the Crown paladin, but anyways. I think Henry Cavill, who I know for sure is a big old nerd, would be fun to have at the D&D table.
Just because
Superman
he's hot.
Superman
himself, the Gary Stew. Or Geralt of Rivia. I don't know. I'm drawing blank on his other. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., also a good movie, but it did have that guy that likes to eat people in it, so I kind of soured that one. But yeah.
Okay, quick question though.
What?
With or without the mustache?
Ooh, I'm gonna say without the mustache this time. Do you want the CGI mustache be gone?
No, I want the real mustache, or or I would love to see him in real life, but still with the CGI mustache removal.
Yeah, he seems like a very down to earth, personable guy. He, like I said, he's a big nerd, and I know when he was on The Witcher, he was when they were trying to deviate from the books, he's like, all right, but like this is really good in the books, maybe we should do that, and that was kind of some of the friction there, as he wanted to stick to the source material that's popular and all that, and they wanted to go and get their show canceled. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Did it get canceled?
It did. I think once he left, there was one more season. I don't think it's come out yet, and then I think they're done after that. Just like the Halo show also got canceled, but I don't think there's really many fans for either of these shows nowadays. But he also, I remember hearing this story where I think his nephew was saying like, "Oh yeah, my uncle's Superman," and saying it like to the class, and the teacher's just like, "No, stop lying. Your uncle's not Superman." And then Henry Cavill actually showed up to the school like in his Superman outfit. He's like, "Yeah, I actually am like Superman in the movie and all that." So he seems like a very cool guy. I know one thing he did is he went and like stood underneath a billboard of himself just to prove like that people, like if you just blend in with the crowd, they won't notice you. Like he's like put like or like. I think it was to prove that the glasses and Superman can actually distract enough people. So he went out with the poster. I think it had him with glasses on, and he stood right next to it, and like no one noticed him, or very few people did. So seems like a fun guy. Does a lot of random nerdy stuff. I think he's starting the Warhammer 4K TV show.
Are you guys into Warhammer?
I want to be. I don't want to get into the whole painting thing because that's just a whole. I don't need any more money holes to sink my little fun money in, but. Definitely like the books and all that. I want in the games. I've been thinking about getting into. It's just such a vast universe, though.
Yeah, I thought about getting a Warhammer times, but it is intimidating.
I have a coworker who he's going on vacation. Like, he might be on vacation right now. Actually, he's going to a 40K tournament.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I'm also just not like, I'm not the biggest sci-fi guy, so I'm like, I kind of want to get more into sci-fi, and I feel like that's a good step to go into.
Probably.
Mike, what's your number one?
So for my number one, I wanted to have a football player, but I wanted to have a football player I felt like I could talk to.
Antonio Brown.
Absolutely not.
Heyo. Le'Veon Bell.
No Antonio Brown. No Le'Veon Bell.
CTE.
Tom
forever,
Holland.
baby.
Sorry, no. Why am I trying?
No Tom Brady.
No, who's
Aaron Rodgers.
Tom? Who's the coach of the Patriots? Tom, not the Patriots. My goodness, Pittsburgh.
Oh, the Steelers.
Yeah, I got the P's mixed up.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. There it is. Wrong on all accounts.
The guy that
No.
tripped the guy. He's tripping people on the field. That guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that play. Yeah.
Who's
I
a
think you
linebacker
got
with
that.
the crazy locks of hair that was on the Steelers?
Oh, Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
Profile Malu. So good.
Yeah. None of those guys.
Dan
I want
Campbell.
a guy that I can just. That was somebody else suggested that to me though. I want a guy that I can hang out with, have a burger, maybe have 7 beers.
I feel like it has to be a line. Oh, is this gonna
Maybe
be
have
Kelsey?
Maybe have him shirtless in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I wanted a Kelsey brother, but I think Jason might be a little more laid back and chill and be able to like have a low key time. Whereas I think Trav would we'd get
Is
arrested.
he okay if I bring Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I also don't really want Taylor's. I'd much rather hang out with Taylor's wife, or Jason's wife than.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Than
Hot
Trav's
take. You could
girlfriend.
have Taylor Swift, take a picture of Taylor Swift, like hold up the Top Podcast T-shirt. Man, we
I
could
don't
blow
think-
up.
I don't think we want that fame, man. That sounds scary.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
That's scary.
I don't know that the Swifties would like me.
Yeah, we'd get eaten alive, bro.
Hey, there's no
I'd have
such
to
thing
quit
as
my
bad
job.
publicity, you know.
Yeah, we'd all have to move to Utah or something.
Hey, there's not many people in North Dakota.
That's fair.
I meant to say North Dakota, but I got it mixed up.
You could have got away with it. Yeah, no, I think I've listened to enough New Heights to be like, no, this guy's chill. Like he's able to have fun, but also he's a family man. He's able to like relax and get it. And yeah, I think it'd be fun to just swap stories of crazy crap I've done with Jason Kelsey, and I'll bet you he knows a place to get a killer burger.
Oh,
if,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about me, it's that I'm always on the hunt for the next best smash burger of my life. So.
What's your smash burger place right now?
So the place I frequent is Stella's Black Dog Tavern in downtown Plymouth. But my number one is the burger from Red Coat Tavern in Royal Oak. But I'm not
Still
out in
haven't been
Royal
there.
Oak very often. So, it's so good, man.
Maybe we'll go in
we gotta
October.
go.
Yeah, next time you're down, we'll have to set up a.
Think that we could do
Boys
be
trip
like,
out
hey,
there.
we're a podcast. Can we host a podcast at the?
I mean,
To be like, how many thousands do you have? Like, oh, you
Right.
know, 36.
How many
Subscribers.
36,000.
36. Just mumble subscribers.
I mean, we could probably record one there. I mean, we just got to bring a laptop and a microphone.
Yeah, definitely would reach out to them and be like, hey, can we do this first? But yeah, I think that'd definitely be a fun guy to hang out with. As soon as he said 7 beers, I'm like, oh, he's talking about a lineman or Gronk
Oh, yeah.
or Gronk, but I don't think I don't
No Patriots
Yeah.
on this list.
not even Edelnut.
Not even Edelnut.
Edelnut.
I think he'd be way too much for me to keep up with.
He does seem like that.
He'd be like, who's this dweeb? And just take off.
Running.
Yeah. I'm out.
Well, you guys got any honorable mentions?
Oh, man, I do.
Yeah, I've been kind of
Oh.
coming up with them as we've been talking.
Josh Peck.
Seemed like a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything
Little
I've seen from
chunky.
him. Yeah, he seems like
I
he'd.
don't know. He's a snake. I just remember the internet said that when Drake didn't get Drake Bell should because there's a bigger Drake than Drake Bell. Did not get invited to his wedding.
Yeah, I think
It's ridiculous.
after watching the Quiet on Set interview, I'm like, yeah, I think the two of them probably had plenty going on.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about it. Haven't watched it myself.
Whew. Dude, it's a watch. It's really good to watch while you're doing something else that can like elevate your cortisol levels because it's depressing as.
It's like one of those movies that you watch once, but you don't want to watch again.
Yeah, like
it's
I'm probably
like Schindler's
you're
List.
not gonna catch
That's
me watching
right
The Passion of the Christ too often. Probably not gonna rewatch Quiet on Set anytime soon either.
Yeah, I think Michael B. Jordan would be fun to play D&D with. I feel like he could really get into some good characters there.
Yeah, I think he'd be really into it too. He's really into anime, which I think is cool too.
Yeah.
For me, Aziz Ansari, I think like the second season of his show, I can't remember it offhand.
Master of None.
Master of None just felt like we were just watching him.
Really? I didn't really like the second season that much, but
I didn't like it either. I mean, but it was cool. It was cool to picture myself in Italy making pasta.
I didn't like it as much, but I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but the first one was definitely.
Oh, first season was a masterpiece.
Yeah, it was a lot better. But, yeah, I think it'd be fun. He's also a really good comedian. I don't think a lot of people. I think people forget how good of a comedian he was.
He's so funny.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's not too dirty either, which is fun when you're trying to clean up your act a little bit.
I also have this is just for like the fan service of me, the cast of Community. Even though I don't, especially if Chevy Chase is there, that wouldn't be fun. But I think that'd be fun, like just to play D&D, like them in character, and as just because they play it in the show.
Joel McHale would probably make a good hang. He seems like he knows how to just be laid back and have fun.
I thought about putting Donnie Glover on my list.
I thought about it too. Yeah, I know he's a nerd.
I said Donnie. Sorry, it's Danny.
Childish Gambino. Girls drop out like
No
that
relation.
Nasdaq. Go check out his new album.
I haven't listened to it yet.
I haven't listened to it either. The only reason I know it is because it was on Hot Ones and I watched it.
Frick, what's his name? The guy from Malcolm in the Middle. He's been on my list for things. He's also
Malcolm?
in Breaking Bad.
Oh, Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yes.
Him and Aaron
seems like
Paul
he'd be a
would be fun.
super interesting guy to talk to.
Yeah, he has a. You ever heard a story about somebody thought he killed somebody?
No, I've heard the story of him losing his virginity though.
Oh.
It's on the Conan O'Brien podcast.
Same story, actually.
Yeah.
Same story. Yeah, you have to listen to it. It's pretty funny. I got a Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. I think we could, like, he has just like so many different things that he's into that I think.
Also another older guy.
Not in his damn 70s. What the hell? Silly.
So I got Matt Colville, who is a D&D guy on YouTube. So obviously I had to put him in there.
The long-haired guy?
No, that's Matt Mercer. Yeah, there's two like.
Although it's gotten pretty long in the past.
Yeah, he does grow it out. But there's Matt Mercer is probably the more famous Matt for D&D. But without a doubt, especially because like how big Critical Role blew up and everything. Also a very good guy. Would be a lot of fun to play with. But I watch a lot more Matt Culver videos, so I feel like I have more connection. You know, that parasitic connection that YouTubers have with their fans. What did you call it, Mike, when you're talking about like streamers? Parasocial. There it is.
Yeah. I'd take either Dan or Mark from the Around the NFL podcast, RIP.
Not Greg, though?
Nah.
Dan Campbell? I said it, but I think he would be electric. Probably flip the table just from how much caffeine he drinks, but, you know, it'd be a memorable time.
He'd play a...
What's the tight end equivalent for a D&D class? I feel like it has to be a fighter.
I feel like he'd show up and play a slender elf rogue just to like flip the script on you.
There you go.
You'd never see it coming.
A gnome rogue.
I always forget that you're into D&D, Mike. It always throws me off when you talk about it.
I don't know about into, but
Used to.
I spent a good chunk of time.
I did my time. I rode those dice. Was it just the whole hobby you weren't really a fan of, or just always been the forever DM?
No, I actually really liked being the DM. I couldn't stand playing, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, so what happened was, we'll just end up throwing Nate under the bus here, but we were playing one week, and I had spent like a month prepping this like new like we had just got back. We were on our first section after we did our first chunk of campaign. It would have been like the first book, you know, and then we played a mini campaign while I was prepping the second much bigger section of the campaign. So we're all back playing the campaign, and it's set in this giant city. And my idea was like, what if you took New York, or at least and like made it medieval? So I just broke it down to 3 boroughs, and then I was like, what if I put a different like horror movie super villain, and they were each in charge of their own borough, you know? And like, but they were like actually the political elite person who was running the borough in the absence of the mayor. And so like that was the concept that this whole massive medieval metropolis was built around. And then you had like it was literally, I just took the Catholic Church, threw a new coat of paint on them. Jeez. You know, and then gave them paladins. And so you had this, you know, kind of this power struggle between the governing bodies and the church. And this guy Nate was like, wait a minute, are you telling me that the government is in charge but the church is also in charge? And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. And he looks me dead in the eyes and he goes, I don't buy it. I was like, you don't buy it? This happened. Like, Henry VIII, the Church of England, this is a thing. Like, this is the Catholic Church. I just reskinned them. And I was so annoyed and frustrated that I was like, all right, fine. It's not accurate enough. Not everybody buys it. I'm going to take another 6 months to work on this. And when we come back, it'll be super precise and detailed so you guys can't complain. Now, was I just doing that because this was a semi-frequent occurrence with that particular player and I was just fed up and annoyed and I knew that he was a junkie and that 6 months without D&D would really bother him? Yes. 100%. It was just me being like, all right, fine, I'm going to punish you because I'm so fed up with this. And then as I was doing that, I picked this little side quest to start as the thing I was going to really flesh out. And before long, it became writing. And I was like, this is way better than D&D. And never looked back.
That's how you started your writing career?
So you can thank Nate.
My God. That's insane.
Just an angry, spiteful DM.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
So next week, I want to know what your top 5 favorite albums are.
Ooh.
I don't think we've done that one yet.
Yeah, I've not done
either.
that one. I have it already. I can just go back to I think I posted it on Facebook like years ago.
Bam, there you go.
There we go.
All right, well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. If you have any icebreaker questions for us or topics, we'd love to hear from you guys. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Read it off on the pod. But other than that, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.
Damn, Robert, that was clean as hell, bro.
Been working
That
on
was
it.
silky. That was silky smooth.
I think this is episode
baby.
50, so I've had time.
Hell yeah. Good job.